Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to some of you and peace out to the rest of you. Blackest hearted, blackest minded, blackest man on social media. Sign of black in and shining again. Asking you to hit the share button because the message is more important than the messenger. I'm still in the process of listening to SWP's video in which he comments on the live stream run by a non-black man. And I'm going to give a shout out to SWP. Thanks a million for coming through and making it plain that no one tells you what to do, and therefore nobody is accountable for what you do or say. And I'll give a shout out to a non-black man for one thing. He's a hell of an ally. Man, is he loyal. I would say this, though. Now, yes, I do think that LSM is intellectually dishonest, but I'm going to chalk that up to raising a baby because I've been there before. I made a bunch of snafus when I was in grad school, and I was also looking after my daughter, and she was a toddler. She wasn't an infant. She was a toddler. I just, multitasking all the time. I could barely keep my mind straight. I cannot multitask, and I'm not going to be able to learn it, and I'm not interested in that anymore. And that's one of the reasons sometimes it takes me a long time to respond. I'm trying to focus even now, and I get interrupted. People walk up, call me by my legal name while I'm recording. Can't have that. And then it's just, no. So anyway, I'm gonna say this. I'm still watching that, and I'm still learning. And one thing I wanted to point out: Sergeant Willie Pete made an astute observation about something, and that is that it's not light-skinned men pushing away light-skinned women. And another man on there said the same thing. Now, Sergeant Willie Pete has been saying that. And another man came on there and he's been saying that. Oh, he came on the live stream. Now, Sergeant Willie Pete has made another observation I can neither confirm nor deny. I'm going to mention what it is because this can mean something. Sergeant Willie Pete has said that when dark-skinned black men approach light-skinned women, they approach with extra thirst, pedestalization, and extra simping. Like, ready to drink a bath water and lick a rear crack. That's how he terms it. I'm not capable of saying this has happened or not because when men make approaches and I'm around, women turn them down right off the bat. I don't witness successful approaches, to be honest. I can see them sometimes, but I do not hear them. Those are conversations I've never heard. The reason is another story for another time. Yes, I do take that personally. The point is, if his observation is correct, that more melanated black men will approach lighter skinned women with more simpery and sympathy, then this means light skinned men that you've been slapped in the face by light skinned women. And I'm going to tell you why. Maybe I think it's by Western women in general that you've been slapped in the face, or rather Western black women that you've been slapped in the face, but you've been slapped in the face at least by light-skinned black women. And I'm going to tell you why. I observed with my own two eyes one thing. I saw this happen, and I'm sure it's still the same. I only know of about maybe 3 light-skinned men that preferred light-skinned women, and let's see, one of them, actually, the love of his life was dark skin, and he got that colorism only really from his mother. And his mother was not hateful of darker skinned women. His mother simply wanted him to be safe from the biases of his in-laws. This is something that a non-black man is going to pay attention to if he ever hears this. I don't think he will. I'm not that important. But if he heard it, he would pay attention to this because this is a part of their platform. That the reason that light-skinned black folks need to break away is because of hatred by darker-skinned black folks. I understand this happens, but I also understand that this is not necessarily a majority. Anyway, this was the case for one. For the other one, it was a similar scenario, but his mother actually just didn't have... His mother taught him this, but it wasn't necessarily that she was looked down on by darker-skinned black people. That wasn't her thing. Both of these mothers married men that were in the middle and had these 2 boys. One is my close friend. He'll involve himself with whoever. The love of his life is a dark-skinned woman, but he married a light-skinned woman. She left. And really, he doesn't discriminate. He just said this stuff. The other one, it's only light-skinned women for him. His mother taught him that. I know she did. He said it. Someone else was able to confirm it. The third one, I don't know where he got it from, except that he's a social climber. Nice guy. He's a friend of mine too, but he is a social climber. Very much so. He was more so when we were younger than what I think he might be now, but he's definitely a social climber. That being said, I mention this for another reason too. One reason that I mention this, people, is because these guys, when they made approaches to light-skinned women, there was a particular reaction that they would get if they went too hard. One of them would simp for light-skinned women. The others would make approaches, but they weren't coming with the simpery and all this other stuff. But what I do know, I know this from multiple experiences. When a light-skinned man does approach light-skinned women and he pedestalizes her and he simps for her, she takes him for granted, disrespects him, uses him at the best he can hope for is being used. What is the problem with this? Well, let's say he approaches her, but he maintains masculine frame at all time. The fact that he's showing interest still is taken by her as simping, so that's over, that's out with. What I'm saying is that if a light-skinned man approaches light-skinned women with the same intensity that SWP has observed or reportedly observed darker-skinned men approaching lighter-skinned women, the results are still different. Light-skinned men, I'm telling you now, I don't know how true the SWP's observation is, meaning I don't think he's making it up, but I don't know how non-regional it is. That's what I'm getting at. If you have noticed the same thing, light-skinned men, then what you need to do, get your passports and a set of skills and leave the West altogether. Just bounce, because you're being slapped in the face. That's not fair to you. And granted, the preference is okay, but you got to understand that while the preference is okay, when someone says they don't have it and then they turn around and they show exactly this preference, that means you're being slapped in the face. And you're not being told why you're being slapped in the face. That's the end of it. It's the same thing to a certain extent as someone who argues with everyone else and then hits you and doesn't argue. That's the same thing. So, go ahead and get them passports and them skill sets and bounce. Because you are actually last pick. They just don't, nobody wants to tell you that. Somebody wants to come along and say that you're not. And any Facebook group where you're not last pick, any Facebook group for those who actually do have a preference for you, that's fine. But understand, why does it have to be a Facebook group? Because out in public, it's still a problem for them. And if they're willing to go to a Facebook group and they're not willing to go up to you in person, it's still a slap in the face. Passports, gentlemen, passports. Thanks for listening. I hope one day this isn't true anymore. Assalamu alaikum. Black heart, black mind, black out.